Okay, 101 awesome women who changed our world. Today, I'm reading about Rosa Parks, civil rights activist. In 1955, a simple act of defiance on a local bus led to the birth of the civil rights movement. When Rosa Parks quietly but courageously refused to give up her seat to a white man, she drew attention to the racism she experienced as a black woman in the United States. Rosa was born Rosa McCauley in Alabama, one of the U.S. states that had segregation laws in place at that time, laws that kept black and white people separate and treated African Americans as second-class citizens. Under these laws, schools for black children were often not as good as white children's schools, and it was acceptable to pay black professionals less than white people who were doing the same jobs. Some states even outlawed mixed-race marriage. Rosa left school when she was 11 years old to look after her sick grandmother. After her grandmother died, Rosa's mother became ill. Rosa ran the household and took care of her mother. In 1932, Rosa married a barber called Raymond Parks. He encouraged her to return to her studies, and in 1933, Rosa completed her high school diploma. Raymond belonged to a civil rights organization called the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. Rosa joined too and became secretary of the Montgomery Group. At the beginning of December 1955, Rosa boarded a bus and sat in the area where the seats were for black people as usual. After a few stops, some white passengers got on, but all the white seats were taken. The bus driver ordered Rosa and a few others to give up their seats. Rosa refused and was arrested for breaking segregation laws. A few days later, on the day of Rosa's trial, the NAACP organized a boycott of Montgomery's buses. All of the city's 40,000 black workers took part. That evening, the city's black community met and founded the Montgomery Improvement Association, MIA, choosing a Baptist minister called Martin Luther King Jr., you might have heard of him before, as its leader. The MIA's Montgomery bus boycott lasted more than a year. It finally ended in December 1956 when a law was passed to end segregation on buses, trains, and trams. It was an enormous victory for the civil rights movement and the first of many nonviolent protests that gradually brought greater equality. Rosa continued to campaign all her life. She also worked as secretary to the African American politician John Conyers, another champion of civil rights, for more than 20 years. In 1999, Rosa was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest civilian awards in the United States. And here's a quote from Rosa Parks. It says, "I would like to be known as a person who is concerned about freedom and equality and justice and prosperity for all people." So that's our 101 awesome women change the world for today.
Lucky story?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story and then I'm going to give you a little piece of news. So, once upon a time, long time ago, there was a village that was right beside this huge lake full of fresh, clean water. And the people lived in the village depended on that clean water to, stay alive, and so they could drink and wash and cook and all the things you do with water. So there was this one old guy in the village that decided he was going to go out to the lake and fill up this big bucket of water, and he went around and everybody had a bucket outside their door and he filled up everybody's bucket. And he did that every day. And eventually other people started thinking, I could be a bucket filler too. And so they started helping each other filling up buckets. But there was one person that never helped out. And they were always, they got water in their bucket, but they never helped get water. And actually, there were times when they ran out, they wasted their water, ran out, and they were going to other people's buckets and getting water out of their bucket. And so this was causing a lot of trouble. But the old man said, you know what? I'm still going to keep filling up that person's bucket every day, no matter what they do, because it's the right thing to do. So that's the story.